and welcome to the second week of our Teen Summer Activity Challenge, virtual activity challenge, that is. And this week's Teen Book Talk, Teen Book Talk, whatnot. So we're going to chat about two different books, and you could maybe win a copy of them. Yeah? So my name is Kathy Janovitz. I'm the Teen Services Librarian here at the Escondido Public Library. Like I said, this is week 2. It's very exciting. And yeah, Teen Book Talk. It's kind of fun. Reading these books, chatting about them, telling you about them in this nice little YouTube video manner. Yeah? So, if you haven't signed up for the Summer Virtual Activity Challenge, please do so. Website, escondidolibrary.org/summer. Basically, what you do is you have 11 different activities you can do every week. They're vaguely pretty much the same almost every week. The craft is different every week, that kind of thing. But if you do at least 40 of the activities over the 7 weeks, you win a free book and a fun mystery completion prize. And then if you get up to 60 of the activities, you get entered into our grand prize drawing for things like a Kindle Fire, AirPods, board game bundles, an Oculus Quest, which I still have to go to Best Buy and pick up. So lots of good fun things. Yay. So the two books that we're going to talk about today are The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly by Jamie Pacton. And then we're also going to talk about All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and, was it Brendan Kiely. I just want to say Brian. I don't know why. So we're going to talk about these two books today. Okay? So first we're going to do this one. Okay, so The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly by Jamie Pacton. So this book is super cute. It's adorable. So basically it's about a girl named Kit Sweetly. She works at you ever heard of Medieval Times? You know, that place that you can go and you see the knights jousting and all that kind of stuff. She works at a similar type place called The Castle, and she's a wench. So that means she's a server. You know, she serves the turkey legs and the potatoes, the tankards of ale or whatnot to people. And she's worked there for a couple of years. She's a senior in high school. She has all these great dreams. She has great friends that she's made there. Her brother works there. And her dream has always been to be a knight. You know, she's trained with her brother who plays one of the knights. And it's her lifelong goal. But unfortunately, you know, as in medieval times, the knights were always men. You know, but she wants to change that. But that's the rules at the castle. Only men can be promoted to knights. Yeah, you have to be a squire first, of course, but then you can be a knight. So basically, it's about her life and her struggles of how to gain this. And she's got a lot of stuff going on in her life. You know, their father has left them. They have to worry about money. They're very, very poor. I mean, she has a really great group of friends. Of course, there's a cute boy that she's friends with, you know, that she wants to be more than friends with. And so it's super cute. It's about her trying to, you know, reach her goals. That's what a lot of young adult books are about. But this book has everything. Oh my gosh. It does. It looks like it's kind of long. It isn't that long. It reads pretty fast. But it has everything. There's history in it. She gives you these little teeny snippets of what it was like in medieval times. You know, like smells and basically she talks a lot about like body odor and like how they were, you know, not very hygienic, but that, you know, makes sense. And it's got romance, you know, because there's what's his name? Jet. His name is Jet. And he's adorable. They're best friends and she wants more, but they have these rules. It's very exciting. Feminism, of course, because she wants to break the gender stereotypes at the castle. There are a couple of trans people who work at the castle. You know, they want to be knights, but, you know, the issue with that because, you know, they are a trans female, but if they want to ride out, they have to ride out as a male. So, issues with that. And it's funny. Her friends are really funny. They're just really nice. They're really good people. There's tons of diversity in this book, which is really great. It's not like a bunch of white people. a lot of, like I said, there's trans people, there's bisexual people, and then there's different, Jet is like half white and half Indian, I think. But yeah, it's all out there. It's really great. And it doesn't seem forced, and some people try to write what they consider a diverse book, trying to shove in different ethnicities and different gender roles, gender identities, that's the word I'm looking for, into a book. Sometimes it feels a little forced, like they're trying to like cram all of the stuff into it. But this doesn't. It's perfect. It flows really well, and it's fun. It's fun, and it's also nerdy, if you like the nerd stuff, because there's always like all these references to Lord of the Rings, mostly Lord of the Rings, but a lot of the people who work at the castle and that she's friends with, she herself have a lot of like nerd cred, so that's super fun. And so yeah, it's an interesting read. It's super fun, and I hope you're interested in it and find out if maybe they'll prevail in her quest of knighthood. Super exciting. And if you're interested in reading the book, we have it as an ebook. We have it as a physical book. Actually, I think I have to put it in the catalog, but we do have it as a physical book. And then if you're interested in learning about the author, Jamie Pacton, what's today, Monday? This Friday, I believe, at 3 p.m., we'll be having a Facebook Live author chat with Jamie Pacton and another romance author. So if you're interested in that, that is happening on our Facebook this Friday at 3 o'clock. So yeah, so that's super cute, so adorable. It was very entertaining. I loved it, and I like hearing the little snippets about. It's just she's obsessed with like the medieval period and things like that. So a lot of good bits in it. I really liked it. Okay, and so our next book is All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brandon. See, I do it every time. Brandon Kiely. And yeah, so there's this book. Just gonna hold it while I chat. So, summary. Oh gosh, I read this a couple of days ago. So the book goes back and forth between two characters. So you have Rashad, who is a high school boy. He's African American. He's in the ROTC, and he's kind of like doesn't get into trouble. He kind of keeps his nose down, or keeps his head down. Keeps his head down, does his business. And then at the same school, there's another boy named Quinn, and he is kind of, as this states, All American Boys. He's sort of like an All American white kid. So, and he plays basketball. So the story is about what happens to Rashad. He is beaten by a police officer. Quinn sees it, and then the story goes back and forth between what's happening to both of the characters. And so yes, you see what happens to Rashad and how he deals with it, how the community is dealing with it, and then you see Quinn dealing with it, because while he is white and he was not assaulted, it's very interesting because how do I explain this? So him and Rashad don't really know each other. They go to the same school, they know of each other, but they don't actually know each other. And Quinn is on the basketball team, and one of his best friends that he's been friends with forever, been friends with their family, goes over to their house all the time. His best friend, his older brother, is the police officer who beat Rashad. And so Quinn is having to deal with this issue because his father died in the war in Afghanistan. And so, people are always like, he was such a hero and such a great guy. And, Quinn, with seeing what happened to Rashad and the community's reaction and everything like that, is dealing with his own internal feelings of how should I deal with that? And is that right? What happened? Did he really steal those bag of chips? Of course, he didn't steal the bag of chips, but it's very interesting because it shows his internal struggle with, with racism and police brutality, as a white kid. And it wouldn't be as impactful if he didn't have a relationship with the officer, because since his dad died when he was like, I think 12, and his friend Guzzo, which is short for his last name, since his best friend Guzzo had this older brother, the older brother became sort of a role model for Quinn, and helped him, teach him basketball, and helped him with his, jump shots, free throws. I don't know anything about basketball, so some of the basketball terminology in the book, I'm like, hey, what? but that's perfectly fine. And then on Rashad's side, this happens to him. He has no idea why it's happening. Overreaction, situation escalates. He gets beaten. He spends his time in the hospital. It starts on a Friday, and the book ends, I think, on a Friday. So the book actually only takes place over about a week. I want to confirm that because I can't. Yes, it happens on a Friday. He gets taken to the hospital. Luckily, he doesn't have sort of life-threatening injuries, but not like critical condition, which is good. But where's I going with that? But he's in the hospital the whole time. And so he's experiencing what's happening. He's seeing it on the news. Of course, a video comes out because somebody had videotaped it. Rashad has an older brother, who's experienced acts of racism against himself, and tries to help his brother reconcile it. And similar to Quinn is having an internal struggle with it, and so is Rashad. Of course, they're completely different because one of them is black, one of them is white, one of them is beaten, and one of them is not. But the comparison between the two characters, not comparison, but the internal struggle within the two are very interesting, because Rashad has always been told, keep your head down, don't mouth off, put your hands up, all that kind of stuff from his dad. So he himself has no idea why it happened to him. He doesn't understand it because he's been told about it, but Rashad has never experienced it for himself. And that kind of thing brings home a lot of issues for him as a young black male. I really did like this book. It was very good. It's not very long. It's impactful because the struggles that both of these boys have, and how their lives are compared to each other, and how they intertwine with each other, since they all go to the same school and they know some of the same people, things like that. Let's see. I was a little afraid of this book because I'm not conflict kind of freaks me out a little bit. But so I was afraid that this book, there would be a lot of like violence, or there'd be more conflict than I personally could handle. But it wasn't. It was more, the incident happens in the beginning, and then it's more of an examination of how this incident exacerbates situations in Rashad's life and Quinn's life, and how they intersect with each other, basically. So, very good book. And I found it interesting that, with all of the stuff that's happening right now, as I said last week, this, and it's been going on for centuries, decades, things like that. This book was written in 2015, and this book could have been written yesterday, which is really great because it's relevant. It's sad that it's relevant still 5 years later, but 5 years is not a super long time. So very interesting story. Two really developed characters, even the friends and the family and stuff are developed very well. So it's very good. It's very good. So there we go. Those are our two books for this week. I'm trying to look at the actual camera so it doesn't look like I'm staring off into nowhere. Anyway, so those are our two books. So you can win a copy of either All American Boys or the Medieval Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly, or The Life and Medieval Times of Kit Sweetly, if you would like. You just have to sign up for our summer reading challenge at escondido.library.org/summer, and then complete the activity for the week. And when you complete the activity, you click on the box and it's going to prompt you to enter some text, which is going to be, tell us which book you liked. So if you prefer one to the, which, just let us know which of the two you prefer. Like, yeah, I'd really like to read this, or no, I'd really like to read this. Let us know, because it'll prompt you to type something in. And then at the end of the week, I will run a list of everybody who completed the challenge, and then randomly pick two people, one person that chose this book and one person that chose the other book, and then we'll contact you by email, and then we'll get you the book and look for stuff. So, and then of course that completing that activity gets you closer to winning other stuff. Plus, every activity that you do gets you into the weekly drawing for a, is it $40 Amazon gift card, you want to say? Yeah, that sounds about right. So there's our teen book talk for the week. I hope both of those or either of those sound really great to you, and that I explain them fairly well. So I try to like to read them. I mean, you feel like I should read these ahead of time so I'm prepared. But I like to read them like within the week, because then it's more fresh in my mind and my impressions are there, and I can talk to you about it better. So, yeah. So we will see you next week. Oh, and don't forget, Jamie Pacton, if you're interested in listening to her and another author talk about their books, about writing, about romance, because I think this is our romance author chats, that will be on our Facebook Live on this Friday at 3 p.m. I will be there, and our other adult services librarian, Jessica, will be there, and it'll be a good time if you're interested. Okay, I think I've remembered everything, and now I can end the thingy by using my little doohickey thing, and then pushing the button. Ciao!